All right, strap in, folks. This one's going to be a big one. So today what we're going to be doing is looking at the moves that have been changed, looking at the abilities that have changed, looking at the Pokemon's abilities and sets that have changed, looking at the moves that have been deleted, and looking at the mechanics that have changed. So it's basically everything that's changed about the Pokemon that you know and love that are coming back in this game. Now, before I get further, I just want to say all these charts, this document, it was made by Roy Dadadoo, and apparently it's his birthday. So shout outs to you. Thanks for making such an awesome tool, and happy birthday. It should be in the description if you guys want to take a look at it yourself. So starting off first with the moves. So over here you can see the names of the moves and the old power, the new power, and the old PP and the new PP. So starting off with Wicked Blow, that's the signature move of Urshifu. It dropped from 80 power to 75 power, which really doesn't change anything. It's still a busted move, so that's very minor. Grassy Glide. Grassy Glide got a big nerf. It dropped from 70 to 60, which I can understand because it's a powerful move. Excuse me. So with Rillaboom, Rillaboom doesn't even get this move anymore. We'll get to that later, but yeah, I don't think anything's going to be running Grassy Glide outside of doubles now. Glacial Lance went from 130 to 120. Minor change because, you know, only the most busted Pokemon learns that move. Bitter Malice, Dire Claw, these are new moves, so these are changes that we don't know yet. So I'm just going to skip over that. Esper Wing, I think that's a move from Arceus. So I don't really consider that a change either because it hasn't been in a mainline game yet. So all of these moves I'm kind of skipping over here. But here, importantly, all the recovery moves, all of these moves have been cut from 10 base PP down to 5 base PP. So with PP max, this could be 16, and now it's down to 8. Milk Drink, Recover, Rest, Roost, Shore Up, Slack Off, Soft Boiled. So Rest Talk is definitely got a major nerf in this generation, and just Stall in general got a huge nerf. On top of the fact that everything is just super offensive, they just got rid of your ability to heal, or like severely limited it. So that's it just for the moves that are still in, that had some stat changes. Abilities. Intrepid Sword. So Sword Doggo's move. Boosts the Pokemon's attack stat the first time the Pokemon enters a battle. It no longer works every time you come in. It's only one time per match. And for some reason, Shield Doggo got the same nerf. So the previous legendaries, that's the nerf for them. Protean. That's actually the hidden ability for Meowscarada, the grass starter. Changes the Pokemon's type to the type of the move it's about to use. This works only once each time the Pokemon enters the battle. So what this means is you do knockoff, you turn to dark type, and then you do slash or any other move, you're still dark type, right? But if you U-turn and get out of there and then come back, you still switch again. So you switch once per outing, but it could be multiple times in a match. So this one is pretty minor, and it could be to your advantage. You know, if you're, I was just talking about this with somebody, if you're fighting somebody who's a ghost type and you use a normal status move and they're locked in, they can no longer hit you, and you can still hit him with dark types, and you're not going to be, or you could hit him with ghost type moves and you're not going to be turning into ghost type. So This one is pretty minor and may not be a nerf depending on how you use it. So I don't mind this. Snow warning. So this used to set hail and now it sets snow. That's something we're going to get into soon, but hail has been removed from the game completely. It's been replaced with snow, which is a different mechanic. We'll get into that when we get into mechanics. And Battle Bond. This is the signature ability of Ash Greninja. When this Pokemon knocks out a target, its bond with its trainer is strengthened, and its attack, special attack, and speed are boosted. Activates only once and no transformation. So you're still gonna look the same, and basically I just assume it's gonna be a stat boost. So if you switch out, it's probably gonna be gone rather than permanent. So let's move on here. Now this is going to be the meat. The meat of what we're going to be talking about is the Pokemon that we know and love, and the moves that are being added and removed, and the ability changes. And I'm going to be skipping over those Pokemon that were from Pokemon Arceus. Sorry. Because that wasn't a mainline game, so it's not like those changes are really relevant. But Alomola, it lost Scald. Every Pokemon lost Scald. People have been talking about this quite a bit. So Scald is an 80 base power move, which had a 30% chance of burning. It was a water type move, and unfortunately it's gone. So this sucks for every bulky water type Pokemon, and I mean, I don't think there's very many that are as bulky as Alomola. The good news is it's back. Alomola does have other moves at its disposal, but yeah, so that hurts. Scald being removed hurts all water types. Ampharos learns Dazzling Gleam. I mean, that's nice. Doesn't really matter. The Pokemon still sucks. Arcanine. Okay, so I will go into this one. It's the Hisuian Arcanine. Instead of getting Justified, it gets Rock Head and Head Smash. So this thing is going to be a beast. Arceus. I don't know what's going on at Game Freak, but for whatever reason, they decided Arceus needs a major boost. They removed Whirlpool, which is whatever, and they gave it Healing Wish, Taunt, Imprison, Bulk Up, Dragon Dance, Power Gem, Gunk Shot, Flare Blitz, Hydro Pump, Heavy Slam, Foul Play, Stored Power, Hex, Hurricane, and Body Press. This is just ridiculous. I don't understand what's going on here. Moving on, Articuno. It loses Mind Reader. Mind Reader's been removed from the game, and it loses Defog and gains Haze. So first off, let me explain Mind Reader. Mind Reader makes it to where your next move is guaranteed to hit. Articuno learns Sheer Cold. So I've done this. I've done this in Anything Goes. You can do Mind Reader and then Sheer Cold, guaranteed one-hit knockout. So that tech does work, but not anymore. They got rid of Mind Reader. But for those people who don't play Anything Goes, this is a major loss, losing Defog. Basically, Articuno is ice and flying. It's 4 times weak to rock, and you've lost the ability to remove hazards, and hazards in this game are going to be bigger than ever. So Articuno, major loss. This thing's like PU level, like bad. But anyway, Articuno Galar gets Tailwind, which is whatever. Avalugg gets Icicle Crash. Now Avalugg is a very slow Pokemon. I think Avalanche is already better than Icicle Crash for it, but maybe if you run Trick Room or whatever, Icicle Crash would be a good choice. But that's not major. And then the Hisuian version, I mean, it wasn't in a mainline game, so I don't really consider these to be big changes. As Elf learns Mystical Power, which is a new move. I think it's a 70 base power psychic move, which boosts your special attack. So I mean, I guess that's a good change. I think as Elf already gets nasty plots. It's not huge, but Banette gets Swords Dance. I don't think that really matters. Barraskewda lost Flip Turn. It no longer gets Flip Turn. So that's like the primary move people used on Barraskewda. So rip Barraskewda. These are the Basculegions. Those are new, so I'm going to skip over those. Baratic gets Close Combat and Earthquake, which is great. I'm not sure if Baratic got Superpower before, but it's great to be able to replace that with Close Combat, if so. Bisharp lost Knockoff. That sucks. That sucks, and that probably also means that his evolution, I mean, I guess that's a spoiler, sorry guys, probably also doesn't have Knockoff, but, you know, being in there and pressuring with a Sucker Punch and threatening Knockoff if they switch is gone now. It's gonna have to be like Throat Chop or some less useful move. But here's a crazy one, you guys. Blissey. Something happened at Game Freak where someone at Game Freak must have discovered the Showdown OU ladder and got too high on the ladder and got hard walled by stall. Because look at this. Wish, Toxic, Teleport, and Counter have all been removed from Blissey, and I assume also from Chansey. So what are you doing with Blissey now? Like, you gonna run Serene Grace? You're just going for Paralysis and Freeze? Like, I mean, Blissey this is just a huge nerf. Like, I'm struggling to understand how big this nerf is, because yeah, I don't know. Blissey was a Pokemon that had use all the way up into Ubers, and now I'm gonna have to see what use Blissey has outside of the really low levels. I mean, it's still a special wall, but I mean, what's it gonna do outside of spreading paralysis, I guess. But I think they also removed aromatherapy from the game. I'm not sure. I don't, maybe it still gets aromatherapy. We'll have to check when we go to the deleted moves. Sorry about that. So Breloom gets Close Combat and Gunk Shot, which is awesome, you know. Breloom definitely got a buff. Cacturn got Toxic Spikes. If you'll notice here, look, a lot of stuff. Carbink got spikes. A lot of things got more hazards, and hazard removal has been taken away. So hazards are going to be a major part of this generation. Chestnut got Body Press. Chestnut getting Body Press is gigantic. This thing is just a huge defensive beast. It gets Leech Seed, it gets Synthesis, it gets Spiky Shield, and now it gets Body Press. This thing is going to be a great physical wall. Cinderace gets Swords Dance. I mean, that's freaking crazy. Like, in Showdown, Cinderace got banned to Ubers, and now he has Swords. I hope they let him back. But yeah, you could bring your Cinderace in, threaten them into a switch, and Swords Dance up, and just terrorize people. Colossal lost Scald. Kind of sucks. Cresselia, look, Cresselia was a 600 base legendary Pokemon, and it lost 10 defense and 10 special defense, right? So it was 120 defense and 130 special defense. It didn't have any attack or special attack. I mean, all Cresselia was was its defense, and that's what it lost. So this is a huge setback for Cresselia. I mean, really, it was used for setting up Trick Room and doing its lunar dance to heal other Pokemon. But it gains a new move, Lunar Blessing. Lunar Blessing, if you think about like jungle healing, it's basically what it is. So it heals the status of the Pokemon and heals you 25%. And it does this in doubles. It does this for your ally as well. So I really think that these changes here are for doubles, but it hurts it for singles, like losing this defense and special defense. For doubles, it probably with Lunar Blessing is going to see a lot more usage. Let's see. Oh, Decidueye, I mean, it instead of Long Reach, it got Scrappy. I think it's like a fighting type, but Long Reach was always a signature ability on its original form. Dedenne gets Draining Kiss, which is nice, but it's not very strong. Delphox, it got Nasty Plot and Focus Blast. That's cool. I think Delphox is cool, and it's glad to see. I mean, I'm glad to see that it's gotten a little bit stronger. Dialga got Trick and Focus Blast. Diancie got Spikes. See, like I said, they're giving Spikes away to everybody. Dragonite, it lost Defog. It lost Dual Wing Beat. It lost Toxic, it lost Roar, and it lost Heal Bell, and it didn't get anything back. So utility Dragonite is gone. There's no more utility Dragonite. And losing Dual Wing Beat sucks. A lot of people ran Dual Wing Beat. So they nerfed Dragonite. Now, of course, the main thing that people ran was Dragon Dance, Ice Punch, Earthquake, Roost. But guess what? Roost also got cut. I just showed you that. They cut the PP in half. So it still got a nerf even for its main set, and utility Dragonite got a cut, and those running Dual Wing Beat can no longer do so. Dreadnought got Shell Smash, so that's cool. It would get another potential sweeper. Drifblim lost Mystical Fire and gained Air Slash. I guess that's whatever. It's not really huge. Electros, it lost Knockoff. A lot of Pokemon lost Knockoff, but it got Close Combat, Liquidation, and Stomping Tantrum. Electros is a crazy ass Pokemon because it just gets so much coverage, and its offenses on both sides are very high. Enamorus, oops, sorry. That's the new, like, basically in the Landorus line, or the new Genie. It gains superpower. It's contrary. So what this means is it's going to hit and gain attack and defense. So Enamorus is going to be a major threat, and I wouldn't be surprised seeing this thing getting banned to Ubers. Espeon, okay, all of the Umbreon lines got Trailblaze. And Trailblaze is a 50 base power grass type move, which boosts your speed one stage. And getting Power Gym is great. Power Gym is a great rock type special move. Eternatus. Eternatus got Outrage, Gunk Shot, Fire Blast, Sunny Day, and Fire Spin. I don't know why they felt like they need to boost Eternatus, but they did. So, but I still think that the most scary set is the Cosmic Power set. Flareon lost Superpower, which sucks, and gained Calm Mind. I think they're giving Calm Mind to all of them now, which doesn't help Flareon because it's a physical attacker. Floatzel got Wave Crash, which is a new water type 120 base power move, which hurts you by 25%. And it got Ice Spinner, which is an 80 base power ice move, which removes terrain, which is a very good move. Fortress got Body Press. Fortress is now a threat. Fortress never was a threat before. It was Spikes was invented for Fortress, right? In Generation 2, it came out and it brought Spikes with it. That was its signature move. It has crazy high defense, so Fortress is now a threat. Glade gained the ability Sharpness. Sharpness makes it to where all of your blade attacks hit for extra damage. And it also got Sacred Sword, which is a blade attack. Garchomp. Garchomp got hurt. This is bad for Okay, it lost Toxic, which is expected. It lost Roar. And here's a big one. It lost Scale Shot. So Garchomp was the second fastest non-legendary dragon. And Scale Shot was its only way of gaining speed. So you would do Sword Stance, Scale Shot, and then Sweep. So rip Garchomp, no more sweeping Garchomp. But it did get Spikes, like everybody else. And it got Liquidation, so no more Aqua Tail. And it got Thunder Fang. So he's definitely a nerf for Garchomp, but he did get some stuff to make up for it. Gardevoir. Gardevoir lost Recover, which sucks, and it lost Ice Beam, but then gained Aura Sphere. So, mild nerf, I would say. Gastrodon lost Scald and Toxic. So it essentially lost its entire being for existing. Like, on the plus side, it got Spikes and Stealth Rock, and it got the new version of Scald, which is Chilling Water, which I'm just going to look at it because we're going to see it a few more times. So if you guys don't want to see spoilers, maybe skip ahead for a little bit. I'm going to look at... I'm going to try to find... No, oops. I'm going to try to find the... Oh, where is it? Oh, maybe it wasn't it Chilly Water? What was it? Chilling Water. All right. Chilling Water, here it is. The user attacks the target by showering it with water that's so cold it saps the target's power. This also lowers the target's attack stat. It is 50 base power, 100 accuracy. So this move sucks. Sorry. That is no replacement for Scald. Dropping it one stage, that means you go in there against something that's Swords Dancing and they still get the upper hand. And you're hardly doing any damage. So Gastrodon sucks. It's only really good for putting up hazards, but everyone gets hazards, so Gastrodon is back to sucking. It gets Recover, but then Recover has been cut in half, so sucks. Gengar lost Sludge Wave, which sucks, but you still have Sludge Bomb, and it gains Toxic Spikes. With this, like I said, everyone's getting hazards. Glaceon, this is just the base level things. Glastrier lost High Horsepower, which sucks for it. Golduck got Nasty Plot and Power Gem, which is good for Golduck. Goodra is going to be a demon. I know I'm skipping over a lot of the Hisuian Pokemon, but it got Shell Armor, meaning it can never be critical hit. I think it gets Iron Defense. It already has amazing special defense, and so this thing is going to be a huge wall. Shell Armor means it can never be hit by a critical move, so you can never go past its defenses. Greninja gets Liquidation, Switcheroo, and Sword Stance, so it's great for physical Greninja. Ash Greninja, as we said before, it stays in the same form. Grimmsnarl got a major boost. Grimmsnarl gets priority parting shot. It means it's going to be able to lower your attack and special attack and switch out of there before you can do anything. Now here, Groudon. Groudon is the original sun setting legendary Pokemon. And I was saying before, like, hey, this new Pokemon is not as good as Groudon because Groudon got Heat Crash. Well, nope, not anymore. They took Heat Crash from Groudon, and I really feel like that's primarily because they want their new legendary Pokemon to shine. So they're taken away from Groudon. Now, Groudon got Spikes, Will-O-Wisp, Rock Blast, Body Press, and Crunch to make up for it. But it sucks because Groudon now brings the sun and doesn't really take advantage of it because they removed Heat Crash. Let's see, Grumpig, it gets Nasty Plot, Dazzling Gleam, and Earth Power. Gyarados, they took Power Whip from Gyarados. Again, I feel like they were taking away from a previous generation Pokemon to make the next generation Pokemon shine. So when I had showed you in the comparison, when I showed you Quaquaval to Gyarados, I said that Gyarados was a little bit better in this direct comparison, but it's all about the moveset, and they've removed one of the major coverage moves that it got. So that's a huge hit for Gyarados, and I think that was to make Quaquaval the more appealing Moxie user. Let's see, now I gotta get back to where I was. Pokemon changes. Okay, so Hariyama got Headlong Rush and Drain Punch. Headlong Rush, I think, is a new move I'm not familiar with. Drain Punch is a major boost because it's bulky, it hits hard, and it gets to heal up. Hatterene lost Expanding Force, which sucks, but in singles it wasn't the primary move of choice, so it doesn't really matter. Haxorus lost Iron Head, which sucks because that was its fairy coverage move. Heatran lost Roar and gained Power Gym. I mean, it's cool that it gets a Power Gym. Power Gym's a great move. Hippowdon lost Toxic. That's a big loss for Hippowdon. Hippowdon, I mean, that was one of the primary things it did. It set rocks. It was rocks, Toxic, Earthquake, and Slack Off was like the primary set you would have. And now you can no longer Toxic. Your Slack Off has been cut in half. So I guess it's a return of Ice Fang Hippowdon, I guess. Or maybe bring back Roar or Whirlwind on Hippowdon. Hydreigon lost to Defog and Roost, and for some reason got Stealth Rock. I don't know what they're smoking. They effed over Hydreigon. That's all there is to it. I don't know why they're giving this. I don't know why they're giving a Dark Dragon Stealth Rocks. Indeedee got effed over really hard. It lost Expanding Force and it lost Mystical Fire, but it lost its sets Psychic Terrain and lost Expanding Force. Indeedee's not even that good, and they effed it over. So that sucks. Jolteon getting Calm Mind is great because it's a special attacker. Jumpluff gets Tailwind, which is whatever. Cleaver lost some attack and got some special defense. It loses Steadfast and gets Sharpness, which is great because it has a lot of blade attacks, and gets Night Slash and Psycho Cut. But again, this is a Pokemon that wasn't in the main line, so I'm not going to spend too much time. Kamala lost Last Resort, which sucks major. So Kamala has Comatose. It's always asleep, so you could just use Sleep Talk and then just use Last Resort the whole time. And it really made this Pokemon fun, and now this Pokemon just sucks. So, sucks for you. Oops, Crocodile. Crocodile lost High Horsepower and lost Knockoff. So that sucks. It can't be used on grassy terrain anymore, and it no longer has item removal. And it's going to be, again, this is the other Moxie boost user, and this one got nerfed. It got Gunk Shot, which is nice, but it's only base at 80 accuracy. Cubfu gets the ability No Guard, which is nuts. Landorus lost Defog, Knockoff, Toxic, Rock Polish, and Explosion. So no more utility Landorus. No more Sweeper Landorus, and no more Suicide Lead Landorus, right? Landorus got boned, got really boned. I think Game Freak themselves are tired of seeing him. They gave it Nasty Plot, Sandsear Storm, which is a new move, and Taunt. So I think they're focusing on the original form of Landorus, and they hate the Therian form of Landorus. Leafeon lost Solar Blade, which hurts. For some reason, they're getting rid of a lot of the things that take advantage of the sun. Solar Blade is basically like Solar Beam, but physical. So you would, if you're in harsh sunlight, you can use this every turn. And considering how sun seems to be a major theme, it sucks that they're removing it. It got, well, Trailblaze, so it can boost its speed, and it's a grass type with high attack, so that works for it. Let's see, Lurantis lost superpower. Rip Lurantis. Welcome to PU. What's the point? What's the point of Contrary if you don't even have your superpower any longer? Luxray lost superpower and gained Trailblaze. Sucks for Luxray. Luxray again wasn't that strong, and superpower helped it out. Magearna got spikes for some reason. Magearna didn't lose anything and got spikes. Magnezone lost Toxic and Teleport, but hey, I don't think that was too big a hit because people weren't running that. Masquerain got Hurricane, which is good for that. Medicham got Close Combat, Axe Kick, and Trailblaze, good for Medicham. Mesprit, I think all of the ones from this line got mystical power, so let's move on. Mew got hit heavy. So Mew lost Knockoff, Defog. You'll notice so many Pokemon lost Defog. Toxic, Roost, Teleport, and Roar. So utility Mew is done, right? There's no more utility Mew. I mean, I guess that's just it. There's no more utility Mew. You still get Recover, I think. So Roost being gone isn't so bad, I think. But it's still cut in half. So Mew got a major hit. Mewtwo gained Earth Power and Power Gem. Mew got all that much more scary because he's got that much more coverage move. Mismagius gets Draining Kiss, which is scary because of the other evolution. Well, I mean, Draining Kiss it's actually not that good for Mismagius and even the other evolution, or the Paradox Pokemon, because It's like only 50 base power, and you heal, but its health and defense is so low that the Draining Kiss won't be that big. Moltres Galar gets Tailwind, which is kind of whatever. It doesn't really matter outside of doubles. Moltres proper, the original, loses Defog and Toxic, which sucks. Again, this is another Pokemon that's 4 times weak to Rock, which loses Defog, so Moltres is going down in rank. Mudsdale gets Stone Edge, which is great. Muck gets Drain Punch and Toxic Spikes, which is great. And Alolan Muck also gets Drain Punch. So this thing is crazy. I mean, just think you have a Harden, which raises up your defense 2 levels. You have Minimize, which makes you much harder to actually hit. You have Drain Punch, which you can heal your HP with, and you have the ability Poison Touch, which you can poison with. So Muck is going to be really scary on Cart. On Showdown, they don't allow Minimize, but this is still making Muck more offensive. Orichalcoo got Quiver Dance, which is crazy because I thought it already did, but another Quiver Dancer is another threat. Overquill, that's essentially a new Pokemon. Palkia got Trick. Palossand lost Scorching Sands, so it lost Scorching Sands and its recovery got cut in half. So sucks for Palossand, which again wasn't a great Pokemon. Pelipper lost Defog and Toxic. Pelipper is just a staple on weather teams. And now what is it going to do? Right? It can't remove rocks, which is a major problem for any weather because you're going to be switching in and out to set the weather and then take advantage of the weather. So what are you going to run? You're going to run Hurricane. You don't have Scald, right? So you're going to have Hurricane, Weather Ball. Your Roost got cut in half. Hurricane, Weather Ball. I'm struggling to think of what you're going to be putting on your Pelipper now. Hydro Pump? I don't know. So Primeape got Stealth Rock for some reason. It just hazards are ridiculous. Quagsire lost Scald but got Spikes, Toxic Spikes, and Stealth Rock. I mean, I would say this is a lateral because all these hazards, I mean, Quag is going to be a lot more common, I think, even with a Scald loss. Rayquaza lost V-Create. For some reason got Stealth Rock and U-Turn, and they gave it Wild Charge. Yeah, this is a crazy change. So in Ubers, you might be seeing Rayquaza as a utility Pokemon, which is wild. Regidrago got Earth Power. Earthquake doesn't matter, but Earth Power kind of does. Regieleki lost Rising Voltage, which is huge. I guess probably because Electric Terrain is going to be more common than ever. It lost Rising Voltage, but got Charge Beam and, of course, Terra Blast. But, I mean, Terra Blast is good because then Regieleki can change and not be hard-walled by ground types, right? So you bring Regieleki in, and they bring the ground type, and then you change into Ice type and fuck them up with Terra Blast. So this isn't... I'm kind of glad everything got Terra Blast, right? So I'm glad they pointed out that Regieleki can now not be hard-walled. Rillaboom. Rillaboom got hurt more than anybody, right? It got super nerfed. It lost superpower. It lost high horsepower, and it lost Grassy Glide. It lost it lost basically all its coverage. It probably also lost knockoff, right? I would have to assume. So it now gets walled by steel types. It lost Grassy Glide. Who's running Rillaboom? Why would you ever use Rillaboom? The only reason why you'd have Rillaboom on there is to change the terrain, because electric terrain is going to be so huge. People are going to have to be running like Choice Scarf Rillaboom and just be doing Choice Scarf wood hammers, right? Rillaboom got hurt really bad with this nerf. So yeah, sucks. Rotom lost Toxic and Defog, so no more utility Rotom. And I'm sure that's true for all forms. Sableye got Giga Drain. Salazzle got Toxic Spikes. Samurott got Drill Run. These are all kind of minor. The Hisuian Samurott loses Shell Armor but gets Sharpness and gets a lot more attacks. So Samurott becomes a lot more offensive, and look, it gets knockoff here. So for all those Pokemon that get it removed, Samurott now gets it. Sandaconda gets Thunderfang, so good coverage for the flying type, which would previously kind of wall you. Sawsbuck gets Zen Headbutt, Body Slam, and Play Rough. I'm not really too familiar with Sawsbuck because I kind of skipped that gen, but moving on to someone I'm very familiar with, and that's Scizor. Scizor lost Dual Wing Beat, lost Roost, lost Bug Bite, which was kind of already removed, and it lost Knockoff. Scizor just got effed. Scizor got effed really bad. It gets a new move, Pounce. I guess we'll look at that later. It gets Trailblaze, which increases its speed, but its speed is so crap. It's not going to be huge, and so many fast Pokemon got introduced, and I guess they wanted to highlight that it keeps close combat, but it lost Dual Wing Beat. Dual Wing Beat is actually worse that Scyther lost that, because Scyther's flying type. And it lost Roost. So like, I just you're gonna have to just be running Choice Band Scizor, right? What would you run, right? You'd run Choice Band Scizor. Of course, you'd have U-Turn. Yes, Choice Band, U-Turn, Bullet Punch. I mean, I don't know, Sand Tomb. Well, okay, Close Combat. Yeah, I don't know. I guess Close Combat, does that, when they say keeps Close Combat, that must be something that they added in the Legends Arceus, right? Because they used to run Superpower. I mean, I guess it's good that it gets Close Combat, but these changes all suck for Scizor and for Scyther, right? Scyther running Eviolite was very bulky, and being able to Roost was good and kind of made up for the fact that it's 4 times weak to rocks. So rip Scyther and Scizor. Skuntank gets Toxic Spikes. Slowbro. Slowbro, Slow King. They got hurt. Teleport, Scald, Toxic, Recycle. Slowbro, I mean, this here could be a set on its own. I mean, replace Recycle with Slack Off, and that's been cut in half. Slowbro got effed really bad. What are you gonna run? You're gonna run Surf, and then either like, oh, you know what? They got a new. So here's the Teleport. Losing Teleport is not as bad as it seems, because actually there's a new move which is Chilling Reception, which is basically it's like teleport, but it sets snow, which is the new mechanic instead of hail. So teleport being gone is not as bad as it seems, but losing Scald obviously hurts. And well, I personally didn't run Toxic on Slowbro, but I could understand why that would hurt stall players. Slowking Galar gets Toxic Spikes. I'm gonna skip over these guys because they're new, but you guys could. Well, look, actually, Sneasel losing Poison Touch kind of sucks. Sneasler gains Unburden, which this thing could become a sweeper, but I consider that a new Pokemon, like I said. Spectre gets Psychic and Draining Kiss. I don't know why they felt like making this thing a bigger monster than it was, but there you go. Sudowoodo gets Spikes, Trailblaze. Swalot gets Swords Dance, Toxic Spikes, Stuffed Cheeks, and Body Press. Stuffed Cheeks means that you that's a move where you can use your berry ahead of time. So yeah, if this thing also gets recycled, that might be crazy. Sylveon got nerfed. It lost Mystical Fire for whatever reason. So that's a blow to Sylveon. Talonflame lost Defog, Knockoff, and Toxic. Talonflame without Defog sucks. It's another Pokemon 4 times weak to rocks that can't get rid of rocks. Thundurus lost Defog. Torkoal gained Flare Blitz, which doesn't really matter. I don't know why they bothered. Tornadus lost Defog, Knockoff, and Toxic. Toxapex lost Scald and Knockoff. I mean, that's all Toxapex ever was, right? Toxapex lost Scald and Knockoff, and its recover got cut in half. Toxapex is going into the lower tiers. That's all there is to it. Toxicroak got Close Combat, finally. Toxtricity got Toxic Spikes. Tropius got U-Turn, Hurricane, and Body Press. I mean, it's nice that it got Hurricane. Serena lost Triple Axle and Knockoff. What the hell are they? Serena is I mean, when I think Serena, I think Triple Axle, right? This is a huge nerf, and I don't know why they would do it for a Pokemon that is so low tier. Typhlosion. Now, I heard Typhlosion gets Eruption, but I heard that Flash Flyer turning into Frisk, I heard that this was a typo and it was the other way around. I don't know, but it would suck if it lost Flash Fire. Tyranitar lost Superpower and Toxic and Roar and gained Power Gym. Make no mistake about it, this is a nerf for a Tyranitar. That's no good. Umbreon gets Calm Mind, which could be interesting because he's a bulky boy. So he could get a new set. Calm Mind is... I mean, if you go max defense and then start Calm Minding up, you're going to be really tough to kill. Ursaluna, that's a new Pokemon. Urshifu gets Swords Dance. Why would they do this? Like, the little 5 PP difference is Urshifu is getting both normal and rapid strike are getting a huge boost with this. Somebody brings out their Urshifu, you think they're choice banded, you switch to your defensive Pokemon and they Swords Dance and game over. Vaporeon basically lost everything and got Calm Mind. Vespiquen got Spikes for some reason. Volcanion lost Toxic, Defog, and Roar. Volcarona lost Defog and Roost. So goodbye to the goofy Defog Volcaronas, and Roost means it's going to be that much harder to sweep. And they probably removed Roost from plain Volcarona because they want their new Volcaronas to shine. Weavile. Weavile got hit with the Nerf hammer. Weavile lost knockoff and triple axle, its two best moves. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. It got Ice Spinner, which is a new 80 base power ice move. So, I mean, that sucks. You can't take out things that have a focus sash anymore, especially because hail is gone too. So you've lost another way to chip, but you get Ice Spinner. So nerf still. Wishcast got Spikes and Stealth Rock. Wigglytuff got Nasty Plot, which, I mean, Wigglytuff has no offense anyways, so it doesn't matter. Zacian got, it lost Nasty Plot. Okay, I don't know why it ever had Nasty Plot. And it got Poison Jab and Trailblaze, which is crazy. But then Zamazenta didn't get any. I heard, it's not on here, but I heard Zamazenta got Body Press. But let's go over the stats. Zacian lost 10 attack in its base form. Its crown version lost 20 attack. And for some reason, they felt like Zamazenta needed to get effed over too. So Zamazenta, who was always ass compared to Zacian, gets punished because Zacian was so much better than it. But anyways, Zangoose gets agility. Zapdos, regular Zapdos, loses Toxic, Defog, and Roar. Toxic and Defog is just a staple on Zapdos, especially Defog. So this really sucks. Just, you know, you're another flying type without the ability to remove rocks, but also because Defog was a great combination with Thunder because it raised your accuracy. I mean, or at least it lowered your opponent's evasion. So now Hurricane and Thunder are just a little bit less viable on Zapdos outside of rain. Zapdos Galar lost Blaze Kick, which sucks. I love Zapdos Galar. I always ran Blaze Kick. And then you got Tailwind, which is garbage. You already get agility. Why do you need Tailwind? This is just doubles. But why remove Blaze Kick? It's not like Galarian Zapdos was destroying the world. Anyways, Zarude gets Swords Dance and Trailblaze, which are both very good for Zarude. Zarude was pretty weak, so these are good boosts for it. Zoroark gets Crunch, which is good for those who run Swords Dance on Zoroark. And then there's the Hisuian Zoroarks, which get Body Slam, Hyper Voice, Focus Blast, and Trick. Something to keep in mind because, you know, you may be running into this. And Bruxish gets Wave Crash, which is whatever. I'm not really familiar with Bruxish. So let's move on to the next one. Oops, which one is this? Oh, these are the moves that I was checking. So these are... Okay, so we're going to go into the moves that have been deleted from the game. Actually, you know what? Did we do the abilities? Okay, so yeah, so these are moves that are going to be deleted from the game. So purple, as you see here, these purple ones, these are moves, from my understanding, that were removed in Sword and Shield. Blue are ones that are going to be removed from Scarlet and Violet, and red are important moves that have been removed from Scarlet and Violet. So Submission is an ass move. It will not be missed. It's a low accuracy, weak fighting move that hurts yourself. So good riddance. Hyper Fang, losing that kind of sucks for those Pokemon that needed it. Mind Reader, I already explained why they removed it. It's probably because it was used with sheer cold and it was just killing things. Vital Throw, losing Vital Throw. Vital Throw was kind of an interesting move. It's a fighting move. It always goes last. and it never misses. So it was an interesting tech that I was actually thinking of using. For example, if you had somebody who was teleporting out, they would teleport and switch into whatever Pokemon and then get hit. And there's no way to avoid it, even because it always goes last. So, I don't know, it was an interesting move. It's kind of sad that they removed it. Hail got removed because of being replaced with snow. Nature power, nature power, I think that's like whatever the terrain is, that's what your move is. So I don't know, it kind of sucks losing this. Magic coat is a huge one. Magic coat was if somebody were to put status on you and you know they're going to do it, you use magic coat and bounce it back off to them. So it's like magic guard, but you have to predict it and use your move to do it. So no more hard reads with magic coat. Revenge is gone. Grudge is gone. Grudge was an ass move. If you die, it removes all the PP of the move that killed you. Aromatherapy, see, I told you it's gone. So what is Blissey? What is Blissey now? It's got no wish, no aromatherapy, soft boiled got cut in half, no toxic, no teleport. Yeah. Doom Desire. This sucks. This is the signature move for what is that? The steel fairy type. Not steel psychic, I mean. Sorry, I can't think of the name right now. But yeah, this losing Doom Desire sucks. It's basically like Future Sight but steel. Psycho Shift is... Wait, is Psycho Shift... Is Psycho Shift the signature move of... Oh, what was that Pokemon? I forgot. Let's move on. I'm not sure if this is the very strong psychic move or if this is the one where you copy your opponent's stat change. Look, Heart Swap and Autonomize. You see right here, somebody at Game Freak got swept by Magurna and said, never again. Dual Chop. This sucks. So look, this is another nerf for Haxorus. Haxorus lost Iron Head and loses Dual Chop. Dual Chop is its signature move. Leaf Tornado, which is whatever. Mat Block sucks for doubles. And same with Crafty Shield and I guess Flower Shield. Venom Drench. Now I understand why they removed Venom Drench. Venom Drench lowered all of your stats. I think it lowered them harshly if you were poisoned. And considering how much toxic spikes are going to be going around, I can understand why they got rid of it. Powder. Isn't Powder like the ice move, which is like 55 power and always critical? Interesting that they removed that. Power Up Punch. This really sucks for those people who like to run Assault Vest, right? Because you could run Assault Vest and with Power Up Punch, you're still boosting your stats. But now it's gone. So that's a huge nerf to physical Assault Vest users. Dragon Hammer. Dragon Hammer, it's kind of a signature move, right? Isn't it the signature move of what is that, Grass Dragon type? But yeah, so sucks for those few Dragon Hammer users. But yeah, those are the moves that have been removed, right? And I think these gray ones are moves that have already been removed beforehand. So here we're going to get into the last bit of this video, which is the mechanical changes. So I already said before here with the weather, ice gets replaced with Snowstorm. Snowstorm boosts the defense of ice moves. And it replaces hail even for Aurora Veil. So you can still do Aurora Veil outside of hail because hail doesn't exist. So my feeling on Snowstorm replacing Hail. I liked Hail. I liked the fact that Hail chipped Pokemon. I kind of wish that they just added defense boost to ice types in Hail rather than just taking away instead of adding that and taking away the chip damage. And the chip damage makes sense. If you've ever been in Hail, it hurts. Yeah, it's nice getting the chip damage. So, but anyways, it's good that ice types get their defenses boost. Let's see. TMs, Toxic, Knockoff, Defog, and Roost are still not TMs, but now Scald is not available by standard meads in the game. It's not a TM, and Volcanion and Simipour, the two Pokemon that learned it, are not back. They're not coming back. So there's more categories for moves. The new categories are slicing moves and wind moves. And this is important because I've already showed you one new ability which increases the power of slicing moves. And here are the moves, right? Cut, Razor Leaf, Slash, Fury Cutter, Air Cutter, Aerial Ace, Leaf Blade, Night Slash, Air Slash, X Scissor, Psycho Cut, Cross Poison, Sacred Sword, Razor Shell, Solar Blade, Behemoth Blade, Stone Axe, Ceaseless Edge, Population Bomb, which is a new move, Kowtow Cleave, which again is a new move, Bitter Blade, and Aqua Cutter. So these are all slicing moves that will be boosted by that new ability. Wind move, this is important because there's a new Pokemon that gets boosted by wind moves. So like if you try to hit it with a wind move, instead it gets a boost. So the moves that would be effective would be Gust, Whirlwind, Blizzard, Icy, Wind, Sandstorm, Twister, Heat Wave, Air Cutter, Tailwind, Hurricane, Tailwind. So I guess it gets boosted even by status moves. Hurricane, Petal Blizzard, Fairy Wind, Springtide Storm, which definitely sounds like a new move. Bleakwind Storm, Wild Bolt Storm, and Sandsear Storm. So in-game, the items, the heavy boots are there, which is going to be good because so much status, and there seems to be no missing item, which is funny because there are new items in this game that seem to make the old ones obsolete, but we will get into that another time. Crystallization, the terraforms or whatever. This is explaining the mechanics. So I'll just read it out, right? Offensive type. If you change into a different type, you keep your previous same type as base attack bonus while gaining 1 on your new type. If you change into one of your base type, you'll have a stab bonus on this type. For example, Charizard changing to water gives it a boost of 1.5 times on water moves on top of its normal flying, fire and flying type. But if Charizard changes to flying, it gets a bonus of now 2 times on flying, and it still keeps the 1.5 on fire. And this lasts until the end of the battle. Okay, and now defensive type. You can change your Terra type completely as a monotype. So in the previous example, Charizard terrestrializing into water will make it pure water type, weak to electric and grass, and resisting fire, ice, steel, and water. And that also lasts to the end of the battle. So this is pretty much as you would expect, right? I mean, for some people, I guess you didn't know that you can now have 3 stab type moves instead of just being 2 if you're a dual type. Shinies, auto battle is a major feature they're adding into the game, where you could run around and have your Pokemon just run around and kill Pokemon and gain experience while you don't do anything. They will refuse auto battling with a shiny, which is good. So you could just roam around, and if you see a shiny, catch it instead of having it get killed by your dumb Pokemon. You can save and in front of a shiny and reset, and it'll still be there. And if you're playing online, you better get that shiny right away, because somebody else can snatch that shiny, and that's it. No more shiny for you. So from Pokemon League Arceus, Frostbite and Drowsy are gone, and Freeze and Sleep, as you've always known them in the normal games, are here, as you would expect. And then here are the observations. Apparently the early game is way harder than usual, which is great because Pokemon games have gotten so easy. It says super effective moves barely do damage in the early game. I wonder what's going on here where he's saying that. On the online matches, the timer is still 20 minutes, which sucks. This really sucks. You're going to be getting a lot of people stalling out the clock. I don't know why they didn't change this. In the overworld, Zora or Zoroark, they can be disguised as other Pokemon, so it's going to make it more tricky to catch them, but I guess more exciting. In co-op, if you have a buddy who has the other version of the game, you can catch the exclusive Pokemon there while visiting their world. Breeding has been completely removed. There's no more Pokemon breeders. Now you basically got to make a snack and you find eggs in your basket. So it says here, I'll just read what it says. Put 2 compatible Pokemon in your team, start a picnic, which will generate eggs automatically and can be boosted with sandwiches. The number of eggs stack, and you can have around 4 eggs in about 3 minutes with egg power level 1. Egg groups and genders no longer matter for egg moves. For this, just give a mirror herb to the Pokemon receiving the egg move. So I think that's a big change right there. Raids. Raid Pokemon can have TM and egg moves in their movesets. They can also get hidden abilities. And you can get ability patches from 6-star raids, which is great. It's great being able to easily get ability patches. The ability patches are items that you get, consumable items, which allow you to change to your hidden abilities, which you're definitely going to want for your starter Pokemon and many other Pokemon. Hyper training. This is a big change. Hyper training is now level 50 and up, meaning you don't have to waste your time getting your Pokemon all the way up to level 100 to maximize their stats for online play. Abilities. Primordial Sea is present, where it was excluded in Sword and Shield ability research. So that seems like Kyogre is coming back. We also note the presence of Dragon's Maw. So these could just be files that just happen to be there. That doesn't mean that things are coming back, but it does hint that we may be seeing Primal Kyogre maybe in future downloadable content. So anyways, we've gone over, let's see, we've gone over the move changes, we've gone over the ability changes, we've gone over the moveset changes on the existing Pokemon. We didn't get into those moves, but we did get into the moves that are removed, and we got into the changes. So for mechanics. So I think this is going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and stay tuned for the next video. The next video, it's going to be focused on which Pokemon are going to be returning to the game, which Pokemon got cut, because just because a Pokemon was in Sword and Shield doesn't mean that it's going to be in the next game. They definitely cut some major Pokemon from the game, and you'll want to tune in so you'll know what Pokemon are going to be in there. Just as a preview, one of the major Pokemon that got cut was Venusaur. So you're going to be having a lot of sun setting, and the main chlorophyll sweeper is gone. So stay tuned for the next video, and let me know what your thoughts are on all these Pokemon, because a lot of Pokemon got nerfed and some of them got a boost, which was mind-boggling. So yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I look forward to hearing from you. All right, see you guys next time.